Hey guys, so someone asked me to share what our summer reading list is with you, so I'm gonna do just that. I did mention a few of our reading goals when I made the video about our summer plans. I'll post a link to that video in the description box, so check it out. I do cover some of the things that I'll be repeating here. We've had such a great time reading this summer. It has truly been so awesome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Alana and my channel is all about marriage, homemaking, healthy living, and homeschooling, and I would love for you to subscribe. So yeah, we sort of stopped homeschooling through the summer, but we read like crazy and we still do plenty of nature activities, watch nature shows and read just biographies, anything like that, because it's interesting to us and it's part of our life anyway, so there's no reason to stop. We also still carry on with our morning time, which consists of the Word over breakfast. We listen to classical music throughout the day. We've got poetry still as our daily, and Aesop's Fable, other things like that. So those things are not cut out of our life just because school's over. We still do those things because we love those things and they're part of our life. But as far as sit down handwriting and math and stuff like that and being on a routine and a schedule, that's different. It is very chill, laid back. A lot of days not being at home. We've been swimming quite a bit. Today we're home, in fact, for the first day in a while, like with no plans of going anywhere, with the exception of going to a friend's house for dinner tonight. But we're here all afternoon, all morning. So it's been a very slow pace, nice, easygoing day. We've read already a chapter from Little Britches, a chapter from Columbus, some poetry, the Bible, and I think that's it for today so far. And we've been listening to the Narnia soundtrack all morning, as well as the Nutcracker and stuff like that. I love having home days. Yes, I love getting out of the house and doing fun things with friends, swimming and to fun places and all of that. But honestly, everything's so crowded in the summertime. We're used to having the place to ourselves when we go places, so it's kind of hard to go to like the zoo and stuff like that until school's back in session. Then we'll go and own the place. That's how we do it as a homeschool family. Let me tell you what we've read so far this summer. There have been 4 books that we've read on audio, that we've listened to on audio. So we have listened to all the first 5 Chronicles of Narnia books up until this point. We have the Silver Chair ready to start it, but first we have to finish the Railway Children, which we're on the last chapter, and that's been audio as well. And we listened to Where the Red Fern Grows on our trip to North Carolina and back, and then anywhere we were driving while we were there, because we were hooked. We just listened to the whole thing on that trip. So over the course of 2 days, we finished that audiobook, and it was awesome. It was the second time we've heard it. And we've already watched the movie, the old movie. And then we listened to Mr. Popper's Penguins just because it was recommended from someone and it was cute. So we listened to that on audio as well. Now, like I said, we're finishing the Railway Children and starting the Silver Chair, which is the 6th book of the 7 of the Chronicles of Narnia. So in a nutshell, all the Narnia books, Where the Red Fern Grows, The Railway Children, and Mr. Popper's Penguins have been audio books since summer started. We've listened to other audiobooks before summer started. Also, Ivan has been listening to Robin Hood by Howard Pyle. This is the version I would recommend, and I was so excited that they had these. These are called playaways, and I don't know if your library has them, but it's definitely worth to check into, because all you do is bring this guy home, plug in some headphones, and your child can be listening to awesome literature anytime he wants. And it comes with the book, so he can read along or look at the pictures or whatever. Some of the selections are, for little kids. Some of them are a little more advanced. We've listened to, not during the summer, but the spring before summer break, he listened to Charlotte's Web, The Tale of Despereaux, Stuart Little, and I think that's it. And now this is the 4th one. So we had already read all of those already, Charlotte's Web, Stuart Little, and The Tale of Despereaux, but it was cool for him to hear it on audio, because when you repeat books like that, it just sticks with you more, So that's been our audio stuff for the summer. As far as reading the actual book, we've gone through all of these. I never know how to say this author, Ingrid and Edgar Parrin Deolaire. I don't know. They have these beautiful picture books, biographies. This one's Christopher Columbus, obviously. But let me just show you some of the illustrations. They're so fun. The kids sit right next to me and watch. I mean, they just pick apart each illustration. And what I love about this is that they're seeing, you know, good art versus the garbage they have nowadays for our children. I mean, I don't know if I would say there's an agenda, but I would say they think our kids are dumb. Because if you look at the popular children's books nowadays, they are just dumbing our children down. And it can be so rich and fulfilling for a child to be read to good language and spoken to in a way that doesn't dumb everything down. So the other day I was at the library and I saw this bestseller book, and it was called something about gassing. And I just thought, this is the bestseller? How embarrassing. I took a picture of it and sent it to Hector, and I was like, look at this book, you know, it's just so sad. So anyway, these are the pictures, and I love all of these books. So this is the last one. We have made our way through all of these over the last 3 years, and I just picked them all back up at the library, and we've read all of them this summer already. Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, Buffalo Bill, George Washington, Leif the Lucky, and Pocahontas. And this is where we're ending with Columbus, and they're just awesome, awesome, awesome. And so we've done all of those. We've also working our way through Little Britches. We're over halfway through that. And the way I'm doing Little Britches is I usually include that in our morning time or lunchtime. I'll read a chapter every day at breakfast or lunch. And then we're halfway through, a little more than halfway through, The Never-Ending Story. The Never-Ending Story was a childhood movie that I adored. And I watched it with Hector about a week and a half ago, and we made fun of it the whole time because now we're reading the book and we're realizing, wow, this movie totally is awful. It's like this much of the book. Like seriously, when they say books are better than movies, wow, I'm experiencing that for the first time in my life now because I didn't grow up being a reader or being read to. I just grew up with movies. So it's hilarious how much is missing from the book in the movie. That doesn't mean it's a bad movie. It's just not the book at all. Like, it's hilarious. And so the book has been very, very, very good. Very adventurous, very entertaining. The kids love it. We can't get enough. We always want to talk. We always want to keep going every time we read it. We're reading a chapter a night. The thing is, there have been some spots where we've had to stop and talk because the philosophy is a little and I can see now why none of my friends have ever talked about the book. No one in my circles have ever recommended it because it isn't the worldview they're presenting is very unbiblical. And so some good conversations have come out of it. We're still going to finish it. We're enjoying it very much, but I can see why no one I know has read it to their children. And when we are done with Little Britches and done with The Never-Ending Story, we are starting A Wrinkle in Time. That is going to be Daddy's read with the boys this summer. And I hope that when we finish that, whether it's this summer or not, I want to read A Long Walk to Water, I believe it's called. And that'll be it. Now, I know this seems like so much and like, wow, how'd you do it? But trust me, audiobooks make it so possible to squeeze in a ton of books. First of all, you can hear them over and over again, which is great for your children because it sticks with them. They're hearing good language. They're hearing great stories that really, really stick with them and impact their lives. And if you just leave it in your car, you just always have it playing. So between errands and trips and driving here and there, we get through a whole book in a week, and it's great. So that makes it possible to squeeze a lot in. And then as far as the other things, if you just read at meal times and at bedtime, it is so doable. Something else that I do throughout just the whole year, but yes, definitely in summer as well, is always have books available that they can just grab and look through. I've gotten this book many times. It's Plants on the Trail with Lewis and Clark. So these are wildflowers and trees and plants that Lewis and Clark saw on their expedition to the West, which is so cool to me because one day we are doing a crazy unit study on Lewis and Clark and then going to St. Louis and standing on the bank of the Missouri where they set sail. I cannot wait. So that is something in my long-term goal of a really extensive unit study and amazing field trip to finish the year off. So I have stuff like this around. I have Aesop's Fables around. I have world atlases around. I've got poem books around. So just everything's available to them so that they can always just grab and look. And very often I will walk into the kitchen and I've got my box right there on the dining room with all the books from the library, and I'll just find silent children looking through books. And never think that your kids are too old for picture books. They're not. They are like sucked in and just looking through it. And I found out recently that Ivan is reading the book on his own to figure out what is he looking at, which that's kind of new for him because I read to them so much. And yes, I have them read to me for school, but I don't know what they're doing, you know, when they're looking through a book. Are they just looking through the pictures? Are they reading it to figure it out? So he's reading it to figure it out and then telling me what he's learning. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it's happening right before my eyes. It's like happening. And so it's just really neat to see. And for them to look forward to the library and to go get new books about different things they're interested in. So make the library part of your summer. That is always part of our summer. We do the summer reading program, and our librarian is so neat. She always has these checklists and she gives them stickers and these cool sheets where they can cover up all the things that they accomplished. The first 2 days are hilarious. They like try to do as many of them as possible. And now it's been about a week and they haven't even looked at it once. So I'm like, guys, the list, like you have 2 months left. Let's do this, you know? And then they go and they get prizes and rewards after they show the sheet. And so it's just neat to see that incentive, you know? And it's funny because once the summer reading program started at our library, we had already been out of school for a month. So we had already read like 3 books and none of them count because the contest started June 2nd, but we had been reading since like, you know, May. But anyway, keep the library an active part of your summer. I would say get involved with the community reading activities and just make that part of your children's childhood. When they look back, they will always remember story time, homeschool crew, summer reading program, the library trips that we take. It is such a fun thing. I didn't have that growing up, and I'm so thankful that I can give it to my kids. And it gives them the love of books. They start to learn where the books that they love are, and they go straight to those spots, and they start to learn the library and their department. It's just really neat. So I hope this is encouraging and inspiring to you. Let me know what your favorite reads have been. My kids are 7 and 9, both boys. So I'm always looking for good moral character building boy books. Obviously we read girl main character books as well. All the Little House on the Prairie books are like our obsession. And I totally am gonna read Anne of Green Gables to them, and I've read Little Women to them. So I'm okay with girl books, but I really just find it hard to find character building boy books. So I am all ears for suggestions, you guys. Have a great day, have a great summer, and read, read, read.